What's up, world? This is We Need a Fifth. This your man Mo. Got my man Hill in the building.
Yo,
Got my man P on the line.
What's good?
Fellas, NBA action. And welcome back to Slim Reaper. Kevin Durant to the Phoenix Suns. He made his debut earlier this last week. Did you guys get to see his debut with the Suns? I think it was against the Charlotte Hornets. Not really a true barometer for the team with KD, but the first test of his son's career. Did you guys get to see the game?
yeah, I think that's the second game, right? Against Charlotte.
Yeah, the second game's last night against Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I saw the highlights, to be honest. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
But it seems like Booker is just like, all right, I'll wait for you to fit in. Because I think he gave it back-to-back 30s. So,
yeah, 35 last night.
right.
I mean, I don't think there's any much more to say if you're an established team. Like Kevin Durant's just an enhancer. You know what I mean? He knows
mhm.
he knows where to get in. He's going to give you defense if he's feeling good about his team. He's going to be all in and compete.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't see it as a shock that he was able to fit in, immediately with Phoenix. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think out of all the great players or superstar players, however you want to tag them, he's probably fits in with like all 30 teams. I think you could put Durant
Mm-hmm.
on any team in the league and it'll be a seamless fit. So yeah. Like we were talking off air real quick, Mo. Like I'm just more it's just more about his health. You know what I mean? I'm not the fit
Yeah,
doesn't concern me at all. You know.
and on and piggybacking off of that, Hill, we were talking off air about. I was talking to P about how Kevin. I guess I was spoiled by Kevin Durant when he was with Golden State, as far as how he looked so dominant, and they facilitated him being dominant. You know, they fed him at the appropriate times, and it felt like, hey, there was a concerted effort to make sure that Kevin Durant felt comfortable within the system and that he was able to be his best self in the system. And from the games I've seen with Phoenix so far, it seems he's still talented. He's supremely talented, but it just I don't see that same level of dominance. And I guess that was kind of my expectation coming into this when the word came out that Kevin Durant would be going to the Phoenix Suns, that I would get a similar type of showcase from Kevin Durant. But like I was telling P, hey, maybe I'm being spoiled in my expectations and not fair to Kevin Durant or Phoenix in the sense that, hey, this is a player that's coming off a month-long injury um, to a new team. He didn't start the season with this team, and he has to work his way into the fold. And like you said, this is a pretty well-established team that was doing well without Kevin Durant. So there is that factor in it. What are your thoughts? Do you think I'm bugging or?
I don't know. It depends. I mean, like that's always going to be subjective because that's your personal opinion about
Mhm.
his dominance. He is to me one person, good or bad, for me, who has not improved, and I say that as a compliment. You know what I mean? I think he's been the same guy from OKC to he has been now. I think he's been that dominant and that special of a player. Just Kevin Durant is just this gap from Texas to now, be it that he's worked on his game or ever since and love of the game, like it's shown throughout his career, but it's been a consistent Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? I don't think there's been any worse or been any better. It's just been circumstance, who's played with and results. The guy is an amazing talent. I mean, he's
Yeah,
top four talents that this league has possibly has ever seen. Where that puts him on my scale is totally different due to just choices and then personal bias. But anywhere you have Kevin Durant, from an AAU team to a pickup game to an NBA team, he's just supremely special of an offensive player, and just a player in general. That's why I don't see him as, I don't know if you want him to drop 40 on a given basis. Just efficient 8 for 12 and 27 points and posting up W's is where I have Kevin Durant now. Not even by margin of victory, just W until he gets, the ultimate goal of a championship. And that's where I have, Kevin Durant. He's just, to me, the ultimate enhancer. You know what I mean? So doing it on his own, we'll debate that. But if you're going to put him on a team with any semblance of, because Booker now is considered like a 1A for a team, right?
1A, yeah, I would say.
Yeah. If you have a 1A established already on the team, you're adding Kevin Durant, they automatically, to me, are going to be a finals expectations, put it that way. And then you add DeAndre Ayton and experience with Chris Paul. Chris Paul, when it comes to playoff time, is hamstring and injury. So that's a little shaky. But if he stands the test of time, and I think they need to watch Chris's minutes more than they do Kevin Durant's minutes. Even though they need to watch Kevin, but Chris has to be there for that playoff run. And I think that they'll be fine and contenders. But no, I see him as dominant and as effective as he's always been, to be fair.
And I think that's totally fair. And I'm going to go with what you guys are saying, because I'm obviously bugging, and I've been spoiled by Kevin Durant in Golden State, and expecting him to jump out the box with 30, and 4. You know what I mean? That's unrealistic, and especially given that, hey, he's coming off an injury with a new squad. Yeah. So
he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I said, with Booker, that should be Booker's team, and then it's, man, Kevin, like that. Kevin is the greatest compliment to Devin Booker that you can ask for. You know what I mean? If he had to drop that in OKC, now we find out it's because he had to. He literally had a young Harden, and the Westbrook of which we are finding out right now is the numbers in which he had to post those numbers. But any other situation, he shouldn't have had to do that with Kyrie if all things worked out. He definitely didn't have to do it with Golden State. I mean, so you take that pressure off of him, which he's not a solo act. And yeah, because he plays within the game. I mean, you talk about LeBron making the right plays every time. KD does too. KD on double teams, he doesn't force it. He finds the open play. They both make the right moves. It's just that people tend to like Kevin Durant a little bit more, personal standpoint. You know what I mean? But him and LeBron always tend to make, the right decisions from a basketball standpoint. So I think Phoenix is primed for a good run if he stays healthy and Chris stays healthy.
P, let me ask you this.
Hmm?
Is there any team that Phoenix Suns should be wary of going into the first round of the playoffs?
Until the first round?
I mean, going into the playoffs, is there any team that they don't want to necessarily meet in the first round?
Well, I would say Golden State. Just because of the experience, the continuity. Like I think Golden State is probably the most dangerous team in the West. Now I think Phoenix might be the most talented because of the addition to Kevin Durant. But I think Golden State could beat Phoenix. You know what I mean? And not to say that I'll be surprised if Phoenix wins, but I think Golden State is capable of beating anyone in a 7-game series.
Hill, would you give Memphis Grizzlies a good chance of matching up against Phoenix? Would that be a good matchup, do you think?
I have Phoenix quite vulnerable, even with their talent. So I can give more than Memphis. I go Memphis, Golden State. I'll give you Clippers. I'll give you Dallas. And I don't even like the Clippers. It's just the vulnerabilities that defense what Phoenix has. I mean, they can lose. They can lose to a Denver team, depending on what happens, and then definitely injuries. But injuries set aside, I don't find them as having all the chinks in their armor taken care of, especially in the defensive end. I mean, they lost key parts, and those key parts showed up last night in Boston.
Mikal Bridges, Cam. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're susceptible. I wouldn't be shocked if they got knocked first, second, or third round, to be fair. They have the offensive firepower to compete in these games. But when you scheme those two, I've seen Booker have some tough playoff games. And I've seen Kevin have tough playoff games. So it's possible, very possible.
Yeah, because when you look at it, I was even really thinking as much as Booker, but if you look at CP3 and KD, more or less, they've always had talented teams in the playoffs, and they usually, with the exception of those 2 years in Golden State for KD, they've always come up short. You know what I mean? Like those Clippers teams with Chris Paul had high expectations.
Stacked.
You know, even when he went to Houston, although that was more of an injury thing, but you know, so I mean, history tells us, like, you know, just because Chris Paul and KD are on talented teams doesn't really mean they're going to win the ultimate prize, whether it be injury or just coming up short for whatever the reason. You know, we have like a decade each of seeing this from each player.
One of the things I'm noticing as we talk about this, fellas, and we're talking about potential matchup issues that the Suns may have in the playoffs, nobody's really mentioned the Denver Nuggets. Are we giving the Denver Nuggets, the number one team in the West, enough respect going into this postseason? You know, we only got like a month left in the regular season.
Yeah, I think so. And a lot of it is because of the late moves, right? Like they're the number one seed. Would they have been the number one seed if Steph was healthy the whole year? If LeBron and AD were healthy the whole year? If Kawhi and Paul George played the full season? You know what I mean? So I kind of feel like, yeah, they're the number one seed. That's all they could do is play who's out there. But I just feel like most people feel like they're just not the best team in the West. Not now, not today. During the whole season, yeah, because like I said, all those injuries and late trades and everything. But so I think people respect them, but I think people put them in their proper perspective. Whereas, you know, people feel there's more talented teams in the West right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, they win the games that are set upon them. That's all you can ask.
Right.
From a team. But I think everyone in their right mind that's on this panel feels that they're right for the picking at any moment. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, just going by their track record, this is what they do. They play well enough to get to the playoffs and get knocked out in the second round or sometimes first.
Right, because I feel if you're Golden State or LA, I mean, this is LA with LeBron and AD being healthy. I think you would want to play Denver. You know what I mean? The only team I think they would try to hunt more than Denver is probably Sacramento. That's because of their inexperience. You know what I mean? But so that says a lot that people want to play the number one seed. To answer your question, you know, no one's hunting Milwaukee or Boston in the East.
I've never seen it where a number one seed and a potential 3-time MVP candidate is being hunted. It just says a lot.
Yeah, agreed.
Before we get off this KD to the Suns and play with the Suns, tell me where do you guys predict the Suns season ending up?
Oh, talk about a loaded question.
Yeah, right.
This is why they pay you the big bucks, brother.
I'm gonna go Western Conference Finals.
Phil?
Oh man. No. I really, really want to push the finals, believe it or not, but They're susceptible. Yeah, I think that's fair. I'll go. Yeah, I'll go. That's too easy. All right, to be fair, and it's how I felt before. I said it get knocked out in the second round. And I was going to go finals, and I was going to go knocked out second round. It's only edging 49-51 because I could see them going to the finals. And then I could see them getting knocked out second round, depending on the matchup. They got to get out the first round, though. That much I do.
I got them going to West Conference Finals as well. After that, I'm not completely sold on Chris Paul being able to keep healthy. And if there's any issues with Durant and his knee going forward, I think they wouldn't be able to survive that. But like you guys have said, I think Chris Paul needs to be healthy for a championship run. He needs to be available for a championship run. So right now, I just got them Western Conference Finals.
Where are they now?
I think they're in the 4th or 6th seed, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, because if they have a second round matchup with that guy running up and down the court, it's going to be bad for Chris Paul. If they meet up with John Morant in the second round, I think they're going to get knocked out.
I think
they're actually the 4th seed, so they would face the Warriors in the first round.
Yeah.
Wow.
They could get knocked out in the first round.
Wow. I think that would be a good crucible for them. And I think if they were able to get past the first round, if everything remains constant as far as them matching up with the Warriors, if they were able to get through that matchup, I don't think there's anybody else in the playoffs that would scare them after you go through that. Especially if Steph is healthy. If you go through the crucible of Golden State, I think you feel confident in what you're doing. And like you guys have alluded to earlier, they were already an established playoff team that had experience making deep playoff runs. I think if you're able to take on the defending champs fully healthy and get through them, I think you feel confident facing any other team going forward.
Confident, yes. Will they win? I don't know. Yeah, I know one thing. He won a championship last year, and if he beats him in the first round, then all bets are off with the whole Steph Curry and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, and it's funny because he beat him at OKC. Like I'm not, you know what I mean. So yeah, that's something we might have to look into. You know what I mean? like give Steph is because the notion is, oh, KD came to help Golden State. It's like, nah, I beat this guy. Like he needs us, type of thing. You know what I mean? When you really think about it, because it's not like he beat us and then he came. No, it's the other way around. So yeah, if he does it again, sheesh.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And on that note, Pete, do you think Kevin Durant has to win another chip to kind of get out of that shadow you're talking about? Of hey, he had to go to Golden State. What Hill's always alluded to, like, hey, he had to go to a perfect situation in order to be a champion.
Yeah, I think for basketball heads, like at the end of the day, 20 years from now, KD won 2 championships, right? But for like basketball heads who analyze, it's going to be like, oh yeah, he went to Golden State to get those 2 championships. You know what I mean? Whether you think it's fair or not, a lot of people think those are cheap championships. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm just saying that's people overall think that. And to be honest, even if he wins it with Phoenix, it's not quite joining Golden State, but I'm not sure people are really going to be like, oh, KD did it on his own this time.
No, he'll never get the Giannis treatment. I don't think.
No, but I'm saying I don't think that removes this is, if you have that Golden State cloud over him, and I think that's what you're asking, I don't think winning with Phoenix removes it.
Gotcha. Hill, any thoughts?
No, I'm full agreement to that. I think for him to be who he wants to be, I mean, he had to stay in OKC, or he could have went to the Garden on his own merit and worked his way and built something around him and took a team to a championship with the team built around him. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being that, like I said, quote unquote, the enhancer, instead of the answer, then he'll always, in my book, have that one. But like I said, we're talking about a person who I felt from OKC till now hasn't changed. You know what I mean? I thought he was God mode from jump. That's a heck of a statement. You know what I mean? Him not having a chip, he'd have been, I know it's rough to say, but he would have been top 2. Whoever said doesn't have a chip, that was just dead nice like that. Because that's what he is. But and going also, over there to Golden State, it's changed the dynamic, it's changed his narrative. But now with all the lack of success prior to it and after Golden State, like that is a line of demarcation for his career. Anything past it, anything before it, it just hasn't had any success. I'm not taking away from his personal attributes of who he is, but that it is what it is on his career.
Hey, let us know what you guys think. Hit us up on social media. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you know when the next video is coming out. Also, you can subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also hit us up directly at weneedafifth@gmail.com. Let us know. What do you think about KD's Phoenix Suns debut? And what do you think are the Phoenix Suns' chances to win a championship this year? In other news, LA, the hits keep on coming. LeBron James, it looks like he's going to be out for the next 3 weeks. It looks like he has a significant foot injury. I think it's with his muscle or something in his foot, if I'm not mistaken.
It's going to sideline him for what, 4 to 6 weeks?
At least 3 weeks.
Yeah, they're going to reevaluate after 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah.
And it's 18 games left, right?
Yeah.
As the non-Laker fan on the podcast, just let me set the table. Let me set the table. They're done. They're done.
They lost last night, right?
Yeah, and this is for someone. I'm not a Lakers fan, but I am a LeBron fan. I'm a basketball fan, and I want the Lakers in the playoffs. I just think the playoffs would be better with LeBron and AD in. But with LeBron, they told me he's going to be reevaluated in 2 or 3 weeks. About time they reevaluate him, it's over.
Yeah.
So you're basically hoping AD could carry this team into the playoffs. You can't count on AD. You can't. You know what I mean? I think he's an uber talented player. I love watching him play, but you can't count on him to be out there. And even if he is, it's going to be tough for them to get in at this point because this is sans LeBron. So yeah, again, it's over. The Pelicans, I think the Pelicans have their draft pick. I believe
so.
Because of the ADs. Yeah. Victor. Okay.
You're only hyped when your big brother's out there. So I think AD will do what AD does and just go off into the sunset. I don't know if it's going to be a minuscule injury that takes him out for maybe 8 of these games.
Right.
To make it less of a guess. But the Lakers more than not are probably not going to make the playoffs. And right now it's the pushes for the playing game. And you need him to play at his best, which I said can't be done unless LeBron's on the floor. Some people just need motivations from the greats, even though they are quote unquote close to great.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's unfortunately one of those players. Lakers actually have a decent team to make some noise in the playoffs. It's kind of sad that AD won't be able to step up and dominate. And they have a favorable schedule to make the playoffs on top of that.
Yeah.
So you don't have them going to the playoffs either, Hill.
I got them best at the playing game.
And I think that's being generous.
Oh yeah. Well, when I said the playoffs, because I don't respect the playing game, I meant that too. They're not making that.
Yeah. No, I can totally understand that. Totally understand
Again,
that.
I want them to, but I don't, because I felt like even if everything is LeBron's there, AD's there, I thought they needed to be, I don't know, 15-5, 17-3 down the stretch. And that was asking a lot with LeBron. Without LeBron, I mean, AD, he has the opportunity to prove me wrong, but I don't see it.
They have a favorable schedule.
Yeah, tough. Is D'Angelo Russell out?
He's still out.
Yeah, I think he's still out.
Yeah.
That does not help.
And I think that kind of solidifies my confidence in my saying that, hey, they're not going to make the playoff or the play-in, no matter how you look at it.
And my pick for the West, I mean, they're fighting the Lakers not to make it, and that's New Orleans. And they can't win a game.
Yeah. Give you flowers, Hill. Minnesota looks primed to get in.
Yeah, looks like they'll make the playoffs, right?
And remember, that's why I didn't want to take your bet, because I felt LeBron
injury.
I felt one of them would get hurt down the stretch, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
But to Minnesota's credit, that's not their problem. They look like they're going to make the playoffs.
And hopefully Cat helps when he comes.
I mean, yeah, I think it definitely would help. I guess it's going to be tough to readjust with him in the lineup or whatever, but it'll be interesting. Minnesota will be interesting.
Very, very. Playoffs in the West going to be tough. It's going to be a tough goal.
Yeah. Especially depending on these matchups. I think Clippers are slated to go against Denver right now. So that, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, PG has been playing horrible these last couple of games. I think they're winless with Westbrook with them as well.
Yeah. I don't particularly like the Clippers. I mean, I think they have talent, but as a team,
don't trust them. I trust the coach. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I love Ty Lue. He's a hell of a coach. Like, I think Denver could take them. I think Denver could.
They should. They're number one seed.
They're number one seed. That's way to go out on the limb. I know.
Let me ask you guys this in regards to the Lakers. If they run it back with this team, first, do you think they'll keep everybody that's on the roster now for next season?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll tweak some here and but I don't think they need any major tweaks, right? Unless you bringing in somebody who's just like, okay, this is a no-brainer. No matter what, we got to do it. But I like their team, actually.
Yeah, so do I.
When healthy. And that's the caveat for the past couple of years with them. I like the team. To Rob Pelinka's credit, people killed him. There's, in my opinion, deservingly so. He did a pretty bad job up until this point. But these past couple of moves they made, I like this team. And if they brought them back next year, if I was a Laker fan, I wouldn't be mad at it.
Especially if you're looking at how Houston is going to end up. They were going to offer you John Wall and 2 first-round draft picks for Westbrook at one point in this season. It really is frustrating. I mean, you could have got John Wall and cut him. I thought John Wall could help the Lakers during that time. But as I see now, hindsight's 2020, you just cut him and just grab those 2 picks. Houston's not going to be good for about a decade and a half.
Yeah, no matter what year those picks were in, they're going to be valuable.
And you could have made some moves. I mean,
I asked because you have Kyrie out in Dallas, and he's basically on his last year of his deal. And he's going to be a free agent come the end of the season. And Dallas hasn't been able, at least to date, hasn't been able to secure a long-term deal with him, or even shown that they want to do a long-term deal with him. And I know many of the pundits are going to say the Lakers are primed to snatch him up in free agency. Do you think that's a move that the Lakers do?
Well, if he's a free agent, because he'll be a free agent. You mean sign him as free agent?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll go after him. But well, Dallas is giving up so much in equity. Why would they not try to resign him just for what they gave up? Whether it works out or not, I can't see them falling on their face. And even if Luka and Kyrie can't coexist, they have to, on faith, make it seem like they can and try to resign them at their best.
Try to do at least a sign and trade, right?
Wow.
For me, I would just
because
Dallas has a tough time getting star free agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you have Kyrie in the building, you got to do everything you can to keep him in. I get the wait and see approach, especially with Kyrie. I get it. You know what I mean? But, you know, if they get to the second round of the playoffs and he plays, you know, I would try to keep him if I'm Dallas.
Even if they don't go that far, look what you gave up.
And I guess for me, Hill, I'm looking at it through the lens of this was a destination that wasn't on Kyrie's radar. And that I truly believe that the Brooklyn Nets did to him to be vindictive. So I'm just assuming that, hey, at the end of the day, Kyrie doesn't want to be in Dallas. He had no intention of being in Dallas. You know what I mean? So if he follows down that path, you know, are the Lakers his in destination? Do we think the Lakers are his in destination, or is there another team out there that we haven't thought of? Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, he'll be an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah,
and Dallas would have his bird rights, in which he can just get more money staying in Dallas doing a sign and trade. I mean, he'll still have great pennies on the dollar if he just goes free agent and goes where he wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He's been in the league long enough to where that coin wouldn't even matter about a sign and trade. I'm just thinking Dallas, for getting him here and with a mortgage, they should try to throw the entire kitchen sink at trying to retain him.
Yeah, you know, he's mercurial, but I think it's either Dallas or LA. Like I don't see any other team in the picture.
Right.
Hey, Hill, you don't see any other teams that could be a potential landing spot for him?
I mean, they tell me the Clippers.
Oh, I hope not. For his sake.
I mean, the Lakers and Dallas are the front runners, but they said he has interest in being in LA.
Well, the Ty Lue connection, you know.
All right. Hey, hit us up on social media, guys. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think the Lakers have a chance to make it to the playoffs? Are they done without LeBron? Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification button so you know when the next video comes out. Or you can hit us up directly at weneedafifth@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. Fellas, I know off the air we were talking about NBA history at one point, and we were talking about who are some of the most important players in NBA history. I know, I recall Charles Barkley talking earlier this week about that, and he had insinuated that Magic Johnson and Larry Bird should be considered two of the most important players in NBA history. He stated that because of where the state of the NBA was when they came into the league and their ability to bring the NBA to a larger market and allow the American public to fall in love with the NBA all over again and opened up the NBA to new opportunities, whether that be with TV, as far as before Magic and Larry, you were lucky to catch one basketball game on Sunday on one channel, and it was a tape delay. After Magic and Larry, you get live games, you get multiple games being shown multiple times a week, and he is saying that they kind of set the stage for Michael Jordan to be able to take it global. Without them, you wouldn't have had the stage for Michael to be able to say, hey, let me take this worldwide and make it a global phenomenon as far as sports entertainment. So I kind of want to talk to you guys about who do we consider some of the most important players in NBA history. I agree with Charles in regards to Magic and Larry's importance to NBA history. I would also include players like Wilt Chamberlain,
George Mikan, Jerry West.
George Mikan, yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on eras, right?
Mhm.
Like I think Mikan, Russell Wilt, Dr. J, and I'm pretty much just going up by decade. Then Magic Bird, like for us, the people in our age group, to me, Magic and Bird, that's basketball, as I know it, as I seen it. You know what I mean? As I was introduced to it. Even if you say so and so is a great player, I go to Magic and Bird because those are the first two great plays that I saw, along with Michael Jordan, of course. And then on and on. So I really think it's an era thing. It's probably like you could take from each decade the most influential player. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's one, but Bird and Magic without question are two of the most important basketball players in NBA history. I can't even see anyone trying to debate that.
I think for me, I have to agree. The simple fact of our parents telling us about great players before, like you said, the Russells, the Wilts.
Right.
For me, it's Magic and Bird in the sense that it changed from the great eras and individualism to what the NBA has been able to put their foot in and grow from, and that turned it into what we are today in our generations, 40s and 50-year-olds, as fans. We were Knick fans, we were Celtic fans, we were Laker fans, we were Bull fans because of the individualistic talent that were on these teams. Even though they could have been in today's games, it's pretty much a fast-paced society. It's more individual. I follow LeBron wherever LeBron goes. I'm not a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. You know what I'm saying? I follow Dwayne Wade. I follow, what I'm saying? And Kobe's the one that made you have that old school feel still about the old generation, where you're saying like they weren't as much transient as they are today. And that's what stuck to me with Bird and Magic. It's like I had to see the Lakers and who were they playing. I wanted to see the Celtics lose because I identified with liking a team more so than Magic Johnson, even though that was my favorite player back then. But I loved the Lakers, top to bottom, coach, everything. I followed the team.
Right.
Our Knicks compatriots, people love Patrick Ewing, but people were Knicks fans. They stuck with that team regardless of what. And you saw loyalty depending wherever you go. People were Suns fans, really weird stuff. Seattle Supersonics, and then they moved, Toronto Grizzlies. It was just a whole feel of more so inward to out, that individualistic player, but the team, I was no bigger than the team no matter what my talent was. Jordan and the Bulls, nothing was bigger than Michael Jordan. Everyone loved Michael Jordan, but they were Bulls fans. You know what I mean? So I think they put that aspect into basketball, and I guess just lucky enough during that era to watch them while they were, in the middle of their prime. So I think it's Bird and Magic, no question.
Let me throw a name out for you guys, and I might be reaching a little bit. What about Shaquille O'Neal? And in this regard, when I think of NBA players and them doing other activities outside of just playing basketball, one of the premier guys that I think of is Shaq or Michael Jordan with
Space
the
Jam.
Space Jam movies and LeBron James. But I feel like Shaq was the first player to kind of really go all in on that aspect of his NBA career or his entertainment career, in the sense that doing movies, doing the albums, and even now being a DJ, as far as making that okay for NBA players to delve into. Now you have Dame Lillard, who's released a couple of albums. You have LeBron James redoing Space Jam. All these things. Am I reaching on that?
No,
because I think that was Bird and Magic.
Yeah, I think that's the evolution.
They started the endorsements, right? They were in movies. They were doing that prime 80s moments of the whole, pardon my French, the whole wild out parties, cocaine era. Sorry, everyone. But just being, relationships with Hollywood. You know what I mean? Eddie Murphy. And even lesser players like Wayman Tisdale cut an album. You know what I mean? But they led the groundwork to make Hollywood feel like they can invest into the NBA. They had their own shoe. There were parties, there were personalities, they were showing up on Arsenio Hall, they were showing up on TV shows. Like I said, they find themselves in movies. Those two players, depending on what aspect you were, East or West Coast, were the showtime, for lack of a better word, that led towards Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal just taking it and running with it and exploding on it. But they led the groundwork for all of that stuff, man.
Yeah, I think he made Magic and Bird made businesses comfortable with using NBA players as their spokespeople. Again, it's Magic and Bird. Jordan took it to another level. So about time Shaq got there, it was kind of easy pickings. You know what I mean? Like, because at this point oh my God, we're looking for you, right? Maybe we can't afford Jordan. Shaq, come on in. You know what I mean? And I also think he's like the first hip hop version of what would be Magic, Bird, or Jordan. You know what I mean? Like as far as the rap albums, the movies, the entertainment aspect. So he brought out almost like a whole different culture, which, this is the culture and the demographics that these companies are trying to reach. So I think it was like a perfect storm for Shaq. And Shaq is, I know he's a goofball, and he'll tell you that, but he's a really intelligent guy. Like he saw Bird, Magic, and Jordan. So he pretty much took their blueprint and added his spin to it. You know what I mean? Like he's this 7'1" gigantic guy. Nobody roots for Goliath. But he said, you know what? If I put on this big smile, you know what I mean, and welcome people in, kind of like Magic, you know what I mean? They actually would root for Goliath. He's probably like the most lovable player in NBA history. You know what I mean? So, I don't think you're bugging about that. I think Shaq was a student of Magic, Bird, and Jordan, and he's reaping the benefits of the groundwork that they laid, like Hill was saying.
Yeah, and they fit that perfect mold. East Coast, rugged.
Oh, perfect.
Non-jovial, smiling Bird. Bird did commercials, and they couldn't make him smile in commercials.
Yeah, you can't make this up.
And Magic was the charismatic, loving, smiling. Couldn't stop him from smiling. Yeah. And Hollywood said, we love them. We love them both. And on top of that, they weren't good. They were the greatest at the time.
Yeah.
So it was like,
sometimes you look back
perfect.
In your youth, you're like, oh, they weren't that good, or that movie wasn't that good. Oh no, Bird and Magic was what they were depicted to be. You know what I mean? So like even now, I feel like you can't trick me into thinking this person's a great player. I've seen it. I witnessed the 80s. I know what a great player is. I know what they're supposed to do. I don't want no excuses. Oh, he doesn't have. Make it happen. Figure it out. Because that's what I saw. I was raised on Magic and Bird. That's what I seen them do. So yeah.
Okay. All right, folks. Guys, let us know what you guys think. who are some of the most important players in NBA history? We've kind of laid out some of the most important players that we feel in NBA history, from George Mikan to Magic and Larry to Jordan, of course, Shaquille O'Neal, and Dr. J. Who are some of the players that you think we missed on that list? Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification button so you know when the next video is coming out. You can also hit us up directly at weneedthefifth@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. Hill, I kind of want to talk about this because it's big fight tonight, right?
Oh, absolutely.
UFC.
Absolutely.
Look like the living legend is coming back out of retirement.
Yeah,
Talk
John
to us
Bones
about it,
Jones. John Bones Jones versus Ciryl Gane. I mean, this is it of it. Since Francis, hung up his shoes and retired. This is the next big fight. Gane and John Bones Jones. Bones being undefeated, a monster. I'm sure he's going to be the favorite. With Ciryl having the height and the skill factor, which I don't think John has seen. Plus the rust, I don't know if it's off. I'm gonna go wild and pick Ciryl to win this fight.
Whoa,
yeah,
wait a minute.
And pull an upset for the masses. I mean, everyone I'm sure is gonna go John Bones, and rightfully so. Guy has not lost. He's been impressive. He's the GOAT of UFC.
And ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to really understand why I'm so surprised, because this brother pretty much gave us a master class in John Bones Jones before we started this podcast, and told us about his greatness and stuff like that. And to hear that you're not picking him tonight, I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, it's just a person who's worked on their craft for 3 years, as opposed to one who's been great and haven't been at their craft for 3 years and been through some issues. I have to go. I have to go to the former, and that's Ciryl has been taking it serious, and he's a champ right now for a reason. And he hasn't tested a competition like John Bones Jones, but let me see that John Bones Jones is still the same person. If he is, kudos. No one should be able to beat him.
And let me ask you this, Hill. You might not have an answer. If John Bones Jones is going to lose tonight, how do you think it's going to happen?
I think he's probably going to be out of shape.
Okay.
Just holding too much weight and not having an extensive camp after a fight. He would need to have this fight and then have his camp and get back into shape and get cut and lean. That's what I'm thinking.
Do you think it goes to full
no, actually, I think 3.5. I think 3.5. I think Ciryl might shock. Might be a knockout. Might be a knockout.
Whoa. Okay. You heard it here. March 4th. It's officially 2 p.m. My man Hill says possible that John Bones Jones is about to get his head knocked out.
I got the Frenchman, Ciryl.
Oh man. Hey, do you agree with my man Hill about John Bones Jones and his chances of winning tonight? Hit us up on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Y'all know what to do. Or hit us up directly at weneedthefifth@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification button. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. Fellas, what's on the radar, man?
For me, right now, Alabama, Texas A&M, about 3 minutes left, score 59-54. I'm just into college basketball right now. After that, I think Kentucky and Arkansas plays. We got 2 top 10 matchups tonight. Kansas versus Texas, UCLA versus Arizona. So, yeah, I'm getting ready for March Madness.
And Duke, North Carolina playing tonight, right?
Yeah.
What, Battle of Last?
It's not the same.
What's that? 8 versus 9? 9 versus 10?
Yeah, not this year. Yeah, I think they scheduled where like it was going to be a big deal. That's a game I won't be watching, actually.
And it's a game they have to play, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to watch it, but it's a game they have to play due to they're both in the tournament.
Yes.
Phil, what's on the radar, man?
Tonight, UFC. just locked in. Most of their cards have been, tremendous, but this is what we all been leading up to, the heavyweight title fight. So this UFC, I'll be locked in.
On my radar right now, Creed. Trying to go out and see it tomorrow. Try to convince my cousin to come with us to come see it. Come see some good movies for once.
What a coincidence! I was trying to drag one of my brothers out whose birthday was yesterday. Mo,
happy birthday!
Hey,
happy birthday! So I'm definitely
25 years young.
Definitely trying to drag him out to see Creed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We need to get my cousin out to see a good movie for once.
Michael B. Jordan's director debut.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hats off to Michael B. Jordan. Much success, man.
Definitely. Anything else on the radar, fellas? Anything we need to know?
No. Well, with UFC and March Madness.
Yeah, that's what's going on right now. Can't wait to the next show. I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about this time next week. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, hit us up on social media, guys. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram. We're on TikTok as well for the time being. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification button. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also hit us up directly at weneedthefifth@gmail.com. As always, stay safe.
Happy birthday, big bro.
Happy birthday, brother.
Yes, sir.
Peace. It's my brothers right here.
All right. Many more.